It is April the 28th. The topic is life after high school graduation. Let's go ahead and meet the panel. This is Jada and Cody, Joshua the V, Ashlyn, Neo, and Dre. Okay? It doesn't matter to me who starts us off, but why don't you guys, one of you, start us off with talking to me about what life looks like realistically for the high school graduates of public or private schools. Anybody feel free to jump in.
Bills. Challenging.
How do you know this?
You go into a brand new world of you just got educated in a way, but at the same time you don't know how to necessarily use the information that you were shown, and now you have to make up your way through the world.
Okay, I'm hearing you say it's always a challenge adjusting to being independent, but it also sounds a little bit like you're saying some of the stuff that you learned in school, there's a disconnect between what you're actually going to be able to use to help make your way. What you got?
Yeah, because, it depends on, what you're going to do. Some stuff you don't use, history, if you're going to work in, a shipyard or anything, some people don't need the history or anything. And, basically, after school, it's you take on a new role in life. You got to deal with bills and all that stuff.
Now I'm curious, are you saying that because that's what people have told you, or have you done the research indicating that that's actually what happens after high school? How can you call on your own experience when you have not graduated from high school?
Well, could you say from your family member?
Do you have an example of a family member?
Yeah.
What happened after this member graduated? Who's this member? Brother, cousin, uncle, neighbor down the road? Or what?
It was my mother.
Okay.
After high school, she didn't really know what she wanted to do, so she went to TCC and to be a correctional officer and stuff. Cause she didn't want to have to get a regular job, working at McDonald's and everything. So she wanted to try to find a good job that pays.
Now, did it matter to her what kind of job? Did she just want it to pay, or did she also want it to be a job that matters?
Yeah, kind of a job that she liked it, because at first she wanted to go to the Navy, but at the time she had me, so Dad left it, marked it out. So then she really liked being in law enforcement, so she chose that field to go to correctional officer.
And I'm only asking that because I was reading yesterday an article in Forbes magazine about you all's generation is called millennials. And they're talking about you all's generation, the millennials, much more important. Apparently, the research indicates more important to you all's generation than making money is that you're doing something that matters. You're adding to the world, you're contributing, you're making a difference. I'm not entirely sure how accurate his research was because I feel like he cited the graduates from top colleges like Yale and Vanderbilt. So I'm like, you may not have looked at the rest of the country, but okay, we'll go with that. Somebody else jump in. I want to hear some facts now. How do you know? Not just personal experience, which is good, but is not statistically significant. What happens to high schoolers in Virginia or around the country after they graduate? What did you see? What kind of data did you see?
Well, for part of it, it's pretty much because for Virginia, 83% of our high schoolers will actually graduate. So they'll actually have the GED and be able to go to college or go straight into the workforce.
And this is according to?
According to the U.S. Bureau of Census,
Yes,
U.S.
that
Census
one.
Bureau,
US
it was
Census Bureau.
87.5, and then
That's
the U.S.
nationally.
is 86. So we're actually higher in Virginia
Really?
compared to national rates.
Okay, a little bit higher. Points matter in statistics.
But it's still higher. Well, even when we were talking about getting a bachelor's degree, Virginia's at 35% of high school graduates who get a bachelor's degree or pursue a bachelor's degree.
Whoa. So we're graduating 87%, but only 35% of those are going on to get a bachelor's?
But then nationals is at 28.8.
Oh, my.
So, that's not a lot, but in comparison, when you look at it, we're still doing better than the whole country.
We are, which is odd when you consider that in terms of higher education, Virginia is actually the least generous in terms of student aid. So I guess there's a lot of people in debt. Maybe that's why they don't get a bachelor's.
That, and then we're a military state, so people just love to go to the military. They don't think I'm school.
Oh, that makes them transient. And that makes your population transient. Okay, now these people that are getting bachelors, I don't know if you've looked this far. Once they are graduating with a bachelor's, what does the research indicate? What kind of job does it indicate they're able to get? Are they able to go and get something in their field, or do we find people with PhDs working at McDonald's?
Sometimes it's hard, because most jobs would But I
have
don't
a feel
have.
for one.
Yeah.
Depending on the job you're going for, and then the area you're working in. In Virginia, you're more military than government jobs.
That's true.
So if we're like talking about like the ocean and stuff like that, I don't know if Virginia will be like the perfect place for like an aquatic job.
What about science? Is there any science? I don't know, because I think if you had to do something with NASA or something, you would move out to.
I think we
Phoenix
got
or
good
some random-
science. I don't know. We got Jefferson Lab.
We do have the Jefferson Lab in Newport News. That's true. But do y'all know what the medical capital of America is right now?
Nah.
It's Cleveland. So apparently and it is. There's a hospital on every corner, and apparently that's where like a lot of the cutting edge stuff is starting. So if you really want to go medical, you're supposed to go that Cleveland area, unless you go to one of the prestigious schools, Johns Hopkins, UCLA, any one of those things. Are you all going? What's the range here? Who's going to college or going into a trade or just going into work?
I'm going to
I'm
college.
going to
I'm
college.
going to prep school, then transfer to college.
Okay, college.
College.
I thought you were going to the military. No, your parents are in the military. Never mind.
I want to go to the military.
Military.
I'm gonna just get a job, just work, get out here.
All right.
Easier said than done.
It is. So I'm going to pause this for a second.